Welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. Today we're going to talk about how to sharpen knives, particularly kitchen knives, something like this. We've got a fillet knife, we've got a little paring knife. We're going to talk about how to sharpen all these different types of blades. There's not much difference, there's basic things you do. And we're going to talk about the different tools that you might have for sharpening knives. If you look at this grinder here, that thing is quite old. Actually, when I was probably 12 or 13 years old, my family purchased this for my dad. It was Christmas or birthday or something. I don't remember. So it's about 50 years old or so now. And I couldn't tell you how many knives I've sharpened using this grinder. My advice to you is don't ever use one of these things to sharpen a knife. It grinds away way too much steel. It's hard on your knives. You're likely to do more harm than good. In my youth and lack of experience and lack of knowledge, I used this a lot to sharpen knives. It was a really bad idea. I just didn't know better at the time. Over the years, I've purchased a lot of different tools for sharpening knives. This thing here, you're supposed to be able to pull the blade through there and it sharpens it. It works okay. Didn't cost a lot of money, but it was okay. These ceramic stones are real good for finishing a blade if you want it really sharp. But they do work. This is just a little rubbery thing that came with the ceramic rod for helping clean it. I got this, which basically has two little ceramic rods inside of it. It came with a fillet knife, and it actually does work pretty good. Basically, to use it, you just put your fillet knife in there and pull it. And I use this for my fillet knife because it came with it, and it does a real good job to keep that knife blade good and sharp. And if you think about scissors, and I did a video a little while back about scissors, and you sharpen scissors in an entirely different way than how you sharpen a knife. So if you have a need to sharpen scissors, look up our video for sharpening scissors. It'll show you the proper way to do that as well. But I've also got a stone here. This actually was my dad's. It looked about like this as far back as I can remember. I don't know how old it is, but it's been in my family for quite a number of years. I've got a little stone I keep at work that I keep wrapped up in this towel, and I use this at work for pocket knives and scissors and things like that. It works great. It doesn't have to be huge to do a good job, but if you look at a knife blade, and I'm sure most of you already know this, you sharpen both sides of a knife blade. You know, you sharpen this edge, you turn it over, you sharpen that edge. And if you do a good job, it'll be good and sharp when you're done. Now, a good way to look at a knife and tell if it's sharp is if you got a good bright light, you can look at the edge. And if you can see any glare off that edge, it's not good and sharp. Okay, there should be no glare from a bright light coming off the edge of that blade. Another thing you can do is use your fingernail. Now, you ladies probably wouldn't want to do this. If you take your fingernail, put that knife on there about like so, it shouldn't slide. See how that slides? If your knife blade is good and sharp, it won't slide across your fingernail like that. Now, this fillet knife, as you saw, I just ran it through there a little while ago. If I do the same thing with my fillet knife, you can see it won't slide. Well, I did a little bit there, but it won't slide on my fingernail. It's good and sharp, and it just bites in. Back to this knife blade. There's a couple places there it's sharp, but mostly it'll slide across my fingernail. It's because it's not good and sharp in some places. It's not bad. I mean, it's okay. But one thing I would suggest is there's a lot of gadgets and tools out there for sharpening knives. Some of them are not very expensive. Some of them do cost a lot of money. Some of them talk about how good a job you can do. Pardon me. And I would say don't spend a lot of money. Okay? I'm adamant about this. You can spend a lot of money on gadgets to sharpen knives. Don't do that. Buy yourself a good stone, okay? And that's all you need. If you got one of these little things for sharpening your fillet knife, they'll work pretty good for your regular knives too. You can do that, okay? But you can't sharpen scissors with that, okay? If you buy a good stone, you can sharpen your knives, you can sharpen your scissors, and it'll do a great job. The way you sharpen your knife, you put your knife on the stone at an angle about like so. And some knives the angle may be a little bit different, but the thing to do is look at your knife with the factory edge and try to mimic the edge that was right there on the edge. Take circular motions, being careful not to come in here and cut your finger. I've done that before. It makes you feel like a genius. Okay, but just do like this a little while. Turn it over and do the other side. Okay, work it all the way back and forth. Get the full length of your blade. Now, when you do this, you will tend to get a little bit of the steel that will actually, as it's grinding down, will roll over the edge. If you take your finger and rub across this way, very lightly on both sides, if there's a little bit of a rolled over edge of the steel, you can feel it. The way you get rid of that is if it's on this side, you put that side down and you do that. Probably not more than once or twice. You won't need to do both sides like this. Just do the side that rolled edge is on, and that'll take care of it. And when you're through, okay, you can cut a tomato like that, okay, or a fillet knife. I can't hardly hold it. You know, you can buy a lot of tools. A lot of people talk to you about how sharp you can get your knives. You know, these things, they'll sell you this and talk about, you know, you can get this great edge on your knife blade. I would say, if you got a knife that can cut a tomato through the skin that easily, that knife is sharp enough for most people to do most things they do in their kitchen. You don't need something that'll sharpen it better than that. You don't need a surgical edge. You don't need an edge that you can shave with. Okay? My advice, save yourself some money, buy one good stone. Don't have to look just like that. It can be the small one like I got in here. Buy yourself one good stone and learn to use it. And you can sharpen all your knives. And maybe you can't get that perfect edge that some people try and sell you tools to get. But my argument is, do you really need that? If you got a knife that can cut through a tomato skin that easily, isn't that as good as what you need? Okay, and that's my, tutorial about sharpening knives. It's not difficult. Don't spend a lot of money. Buy yourself one good stone, learn to use it, and save yourself a lot of money on these expensive sharpening tools. You don't need to go to a sharpening service. Just buy yourself a good stone, learn to use it. And thank you for visiting Do It Yourself with Wayne. We hope you'll enjoy our videos and click like. We hope you'll subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot more videos coming. And just thank you, and I hope you have a great day.